Hey everybody, it's LTM here. I'm at my house right now and I'm about to go and watch Kung Fu Panda 4. Okay, so I just want to start out by saying I love Kung Fu Panda. Mostly the first 3 films. I did watch the new series a little bit. It's pretty good so far. Still need to finish it. But I am a huge Kung Fu Panda fan. I remember when the first teaser for Kung Fu Panda came out back in 2007. It was on my Shrek the Third DVD. It had Jack Black introducing the audience and telling about his new upcoming film, Kung Fu Panda. Even though I was about 7, maybe 8 years old when I saw that teaser, I thought it looked kind of dumb. But that's probably because, honestly, I was different with film back then. Movies had a different taste for me back then, so I thought the movie looked kind of stupid. And as trailers kept going on, the trailers kept getting worse and worse. But thanks to a great cast and likable characters and some fun action and some really good philosophies, Kung Fu Panda was a lot of fun and actually became more than just a dumb, stupid idea for kids. It was one of those movies where I feel like DreamWorks was... It was really interesting to take a concept that looked very stupid and fooled us into thinking it was going to fool us. I was thinking it was going to be stupid, but it was actually pretty good. And I like that. Something I've always appreciated about these movies, especially the second and third film, is that was the different philosophies, like power over your enemies or forgetting about the past and things like that. The second film, I think, is probably the best film in my opinion. It's the darkest. It has the best characters. It has the best story. Everything about the second film is great. In fact, the second one has one of my favorite parts, and not just in any of these movies, but in animation ever. It's the scene where Po is going to this village after getting defeated by the villain, and he's thinking about his past, and it's showing about how he ended up in the radish basket. And it's a pretty dark and gut-wrenching scene, to be honest. Just watching this village taken down by this wolves and all that kind of stuff. It was really intense, and in my opinion, it's one of the best scenes in any animated film, probably ever from DreamWorks. And then the third film, while I've always had problems with, I really think the third one was a nice conclusion to the story. Getting to learn more about Po, where he came from and stuff like that, going deeper into the relationship between him and his dad and stuff like that. So when I heard there was going to be a fourth film, I was kind of hesitant at first, because usually when the fourth installment comes into the scene, it usually doesn't end up very well, go very well. I mean, there's been a couple franchises that proved it well, like Toy Story or John Wick, but I can't think of any other movie that whenever there's a fourth film, it either ends up being better or just plain be as good as the other movies. But we'll just have to see when I go see this film. I'll give you all an update. Now, I do have an editorial being planned for next week, next Friday. And don't forget to subscribe to Powerhouse Nation, which is a wrestling show. We're doing a one-day event only thing, so keep an eye on that. But this is LTM, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, it's LTM here. Just got back home, and I just got back from watching Kung Fu Panda 4. So as I said at the beginning of this video, I love Kung Fu Panda. It really means a lot to me, and I love the other movies. So now we have this fourth film, and honestly, it doesn't really feel like, I think I've said this in the beginning, I was kind of hesitant at first, because honestly, I feel like it was unneeded. But now that we have it, how did it turn out? Surprisingly, it wasn't that bad. It's not great, but I could see why everybody's still split with this movie. So I won't spoil too much, because if you haven't seen this movie, let me put it this way, guys. It's everything you think it is. So Po is back, of course. He's still the Dragon Warrior, but it turns out he's no longer going to be the Dragon Warrior and has to find a new Dragon Warrior. And he comes across this fox played by Awkwafina, who has to team up with her to stop this new villain called the Chameleon, where he's bringing back bad guys from the other dimension, or the Chi, or whatever it's called. They mentioned it a lot in the third film. You'll know what I'm talking about. So it's up to Po and Awkwafina's character to stop the Chameleon. And that's really about it, honestly. The story, it's not a bad story. I was hooked to what was going on. The problem is that the story it's not as deep or as thought-provoking as the other movies. Even for 3, which even if I had the problems, the story had the problems with 3, I was still engaged in it. I didn't know where it was always going to go, and I love the ideas they had in it. Here, it's just by the numbers, very standard. It's with no big surprises or no big reveals. nothing really much happens in the story. But it's not a bad story, and I like where it was going, and I like the direction of it. But there's just nothing new added to it. The characters are our same selves. Jack Black really knows how to know this character. When it comes to Jack Black, I feel like it's like whenever you think whenever I see him acting, it's like he's like thinking in his head, he's trying, he's doing his best, and he still fits this character. He never ruins it. Jack Black really knows what he's doing in this, and he just nails it as Poe. I think he really is real with this character. I think he knows this character. He can never do anything wrong. You can't replace him. The characters now, of course, with all the controversies with fans about the Furious 5 not being in this, just hold on, just calm down for a minute before I get any angry comments. They are in it, and this is just kind of a spoiler, they're not in it until the very end. That's the only spoil I'm going to give you all there, because I know there's been a lot of controversies involving the fans with the Furious 5 being in this. They're in it, just not very much, and it's only a once-in-a-lifetime cameo. That's all I'm going to say from there. But the characters are fine. I do like Awkwafina's character and her backstory. I was really interested in that. The best funny parts of the movie are usually with Bryan Cranston, which plays Poe's dad, and James Hong as Mr. Ping, of course. They are the funniest parts of the film, and honestly, I hope we get a spin-off of these two characters someday, because they're just really fun to work out. They work off with each other pretty well. They're very funny. They were the best parts of the film, personally. The rest of the humor isn't bad. I wasn't angry and not that they were very funny. They were just very fast-paced and very, well, kind of like the third film, sometimes childish. I do like the action, of course. The animation, when it comes to the animation, it's all right. It looks nice. It's just, when I saw the budget of the film compared to because the first three films had like such a huge budget, and when I saw this one had such a downgraded budget, I was like, okay, so something's going to be downgraded. And while the animation is a little different, it's a little more brighter and a little bit grander, it looks fine. It looks amazing. It looks stylized. It's very visually beautiful, of course. It's not the best looking of the Kung Fu Panda films, but it looks great nonetheless. So when I first saw the budget, I was kind of hesitant at first, but it looked fine, and it doesn't really seem like anything was downgraded, unlike that Megamind sequel. Yeah, let's bust that up. Ugh. Let's don't worry about that. But overall, not really much to add to this movie, other than if you have kids or you're a fan of the other movies, this is fine. But if you're someone who isn't a fan of these movies or DreamWorks or anything like that, you're not missing out much. It's probably a rental at best, but if you are a fan like me or you have kids, this is great. Personally, for me, I enjoyed it enough. Because I am a fan of these movies, I know them pretty well, I still had some enjoyment out of it. It wasn't great, and it's not the best of these films, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. If I had to give Kung Fu Panda 4 a rating, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Not for everybody, but if you're very curious or out of morbid curiosity, it is out in theaters right now, so here's that. Alright guys, that's Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, I did state in the beginning of this video that I do have an editorial being released sometime either this week. If I don't get it done by this week, it'll have to be next week because I'm still working around my jobs and everything. But you will get an editorial this month, I promise. But anyways, that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please subscribe, comment below, let me know. This is LTM Cyan. I'll see you guys later.